Hey everybody, welcome to What Up Baltimore. Welcome to What Up Baltimore. My name is LadyJ, and we have a candidate on tonight who is running for governor of the state of Maryland. So, for those of you who don't know, this is Hogan's last hurrah, and he's done after this. So we have a candidate here who is running for governor. We're going to get to know him. And as you all know, this is What Up Baltimore, where we get to talk to the politicians, and we've talked to a lot of them. Some have won, some haven't. But we want to give everybody an opportunity to come on to let us know who they are, tell us about their platform, what they're looking for. If you need helpers, workers, whatever, that's what we're here for. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And the first thing I want to get out of the way is your name Ashwani? Ashwani? How do you say it?
Yep, it's Ashwani Jain.
Ashwani. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was saying it correctly. So again, thank you for coming on, and glad you put your hat in the race for governor. I'm excited for you. So just tell us a little bit about you, because some people may not know who you are.
Yeah, as a really quick introduction, my name is Ashwani Jain. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a 32-year-old cancer survivor. I'm a son of immigrants and small business owners. I'm a product of Maryland public schools, born and raised here. I've been able to work in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, the Obama White House, and 2 federal agencies. And I launched my campaign for Maryland governor over a year and almost some change ago in January of 2021. And really running to make politics inclusive and accessible.
Okay. And so what years were you with the Obama administration?
So I started on his campaign in February of 2007 when I was a senior in high school. And I worked my way into his White House. So I spent about 10 years with the operation, but I worked and helped manage the political appointee process in the Obama administration and White House. I worked on healthcare issues at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, affordable housing at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And I also helped get the NIH and the FDA, both housed in Maryland. I helped them get additional funding when I was then Vice President Biden's Director of Outreach for a healthcare program called the Cancer Moonshot.
Okay, because and I'm glad you said that, because I talk to a lot of young people who want to, sometimes they want to volunteer and they get discouraged with campaigns. And I always tell them to just stick with it, because you never know where it's going to take you. And it's great. I'm so glad you said that, because you're a prime example that it can take you all the way to the White House. And also now you're running for governor, so that's really good. Thank you for that. That kind of solidifies a lot of what I say when I'm talking. So what are some of the concerns, like as citizens of Maryland? We do have a lot of concerns. Taxes, one of them. I live in Baltimore City, and I'm pretty sure the fight that's been going on between the mayor and the governor when it comes to the schools and crime and all of that. So what are the things that your platform is specifically focused on, and your positions for governor?
Yeah, when and I'm the only governor candidate who also personally and consistently canvasses door to door in a different county every day of the week. I've been doing that for about 8 months now, along with my volunteers and team members. And the same underlining struggle that folks and residents bring up to me is politicians don't care about me. They don't care about my neighborhood. They don't care about my community. And so that really, whether you talk about reproductive justice, criminal justice, housing, healthcare, infrastructure, economic development, climate change, any issue that we speak about, if residents are not given easy access to the governor, to your politicians, then none of those policies will be equitable. And we see this in every election. And so that really is the core of my campaign, making sure that you as a resident of Maryland are given a seat at the table. And that's also why I have created the very first statewide campaign in the United States that is 100% crowdsourced. It's 100% run by residents from every age, every background, and every single county, Baltimore City included.
Really? Wow. So I'm gonna have to have you on again to talk about that. That sounds really interesting. I like that. And do you get a lot of now? Are you from Baltimore, or
No,
where are
I'm
you?
born and raised and live in Montgomery County.
Okay, okay. And I know that there's a lot of different things compared to Montgomery County and Baltimore, but overall, now when it comes to a lot of people are dealing with, I want to start with the taxes, the
Yeah.
state taxes. Where do you stand with that, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, so we have shared over 150 detailed, comprehensive, and fully paid for policies at
Mhm.
jainforgovernor.com. And we've done that over a year ago. And each policy was made not by consultants, but by residents who were impacted by those policies. And one of
Okay.
the signature programs, to answer your question specifically, is called the Maryland Now Plan. The Maryland Now Plan is going to do a few things. It's going to reform our tax system by eliminating the state income tax for 95% of Maryland workers. It's going to create the nation's very first guaranteed jobs program. It's going to make sure that we have public transit that is not only available and accessible, but completely free for every resident. It will
Oh wow.
also legalize marijuana while expunging records. And then the fifth part of this Maryland Now plan is tangibly getting money out of politics. So I think if you do all those things, not only are we going to reform our campaign and political systems, but we're also going to make sure more Marylanders, whether you live in Baltimore or anywhere else, have more disposable income, increased take-home pay, good jobs, and a reduced cost of living.
Okay. Now, one thing you mentioned in there, you said about legalizing marijuana.
Yep.
Because a lot of people are still sitting in prison
Yep.
for some of the low level crimes when it comes to marijuana and other things. And will there be something in place that can help those people to get out? Because if it's legalized, what
Yep.
do we do with them?
So one of the things that is, again, very clear on my website, and anytime I'm able to talk more about this issue, I talk about legalizing marijuana and expungement. Because like you said, if you don't have expungement, then all those folks, particularly people of color who have been discriminated against in our criminal justice
Right.
system, they're going to have this stay on their record, which will hurt employment opportunities, housing opportunities, and you name it. And so if we're
Right.
going to legalize this, which we need to, we also make sure that we are expunging those records as well.
Because I think that well, me living in the city, that's a huge problem here. And then for the guys who do come out, like you said, they can't get a job because this is on their record. And so that's good. Those are the kind of questions that people are asking me to ask because those are real things that are going on right now.
Yeah.
And then, we just had not just had it, but a few months ago, the moratorium on uh, what am I trying to say? It just went past me that quick. We had the
You talking about rental
moratorium
relief,
on
maybe?
rent. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of people, Ashwani, are dealing with homelessness right now
Yeah.
because they were not able to get their money in time. I have another show that comes on my station, and they deal with people who have applied for unemployment and have not been able to get their money. And as a result of them not getting their money, they've lost their homes. And so what are your plans, or what can you say to people about that?
Yeah. So when it comes to housing, again, we have a really comprehensive housing platform. But for context and background, I was serving as one of President Obama's White House liaisons at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So affordable housing is something that is near and dear to me and something I've worked on. And so through that, my housing plan in particular has three parts: increasing affordability of housing, availability of housing, and sustainability of housing. Let me real quickly dive in terms of what those mean. When I
Mm-hmm.
talk about affordability, I talk about providing immediate relief so that no one is being evicted, especially during times of crisis. I talk about expanding our MPDU zoning programs and having more dedicated funding for nonprofits that are helping house those who are chronically homeless, and also making sure that those nonprofits have the resources when it comes to job training, employment, when it comes to providing healthcare services or anything else. When I talk about availability, I talk about smart growth and mixed use development. When we're building our towns and our cities, not just focus on single family housing, but multifamily housing and close to the areas of transit. And we also have to prohibit discrimination based on source of income. Whether you have a Section 8 housing voucher or even a veteran voucher, you should not be discriminated against in the housing pool. And then the final piece of my housing plan is sustainability. So I talk about making sure that we're increasing homeowner forbearance notifications so that even if you miss a mortgage payment, you're not being foreclosed on. We also have to increase the eviction filing fees and make sure that landlords are having just cause evictions in place, so that if they're going to evict you, they first have to provide just cause and provide you opportunities to make up those payments. And then finally, when it talks about all of these, it goes back to my Maryland Now plan. Again, when more people have access to jobs, are not being discriminated against in the labor workforce, and have a reduced cost of living overall, that's going to help more people move out of poverty and give them equality of opportunity.
Right. And I like all of that. And so I think the next question that people will ask is, are you going to do that? Like, when you get in office, are you actually going to implement those things that you're talking about? Because I think what happens with a lot of people is that, and this is why people don't vote, or they don't want to vote, or they give up and they just say, forget it. And it's because they hear all of these politicians saying, this is what I want to do and this is what I've done. But then when they get into the seat, we don't see it happening. So people will be asking, are you really going to implement these programs?
So I'll give you 3 answers as to why we will actually do something that politicians don't usually do. Number 1, I am fully accessible, because I'm the only candidate in my race that has guaranteed 100% of my events are free, so that every resident can actually meet me without paying money to have a one-on-one. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm the only governor candidate who personally goes door to door in every single neighborhood across this state. So I'm accessible. I'm also the only candidate that is fully accountable, because 100% of my campaign is not run by insiders or consultants or those who just play the game to win, but they're run by residents who are impacted by these decisions. And the third piece, to show you that I mean what I say, I am fully transparent. I urge everybody, look at all my competitors' websites, myself included. I am proud to say that our campaign website, jainforgovernor.com, has more policies, more policy details. We actually talk about how everything is paid for, and every one of those policies, again, was made by residents, real people, not insiders, not consultants. So obviously I'm going to be able to accomplish these things because you already have a seat at the table and are integrated into every aspect of my operation in a way that's never been done before by any statewide campaign in the United States.
Wow. Now that's really smart. I interview a lot of politicians and I haven't heard that one before. That's a new one. That's really smart, because that actually gets the people involved. And even though we have social media, word of mouth it's still important. And so people will tell other people about your campaign because that's what you're doing. So I like that. I have to get you on again so we can actually talk in more detail, because I like that. And so we have that. The other thing that that's a crisis, I think, across Maryland, maybe not so much in other places as they are in Maryland, in Baltimore, and other counties. I'm just finding out other counties, but opioid addictions, dealing with opioids and people not getting the help that they need. Do you have anything in place when it comes to that?
I do, yeah. So again, to hold me accountable, if people go to my website, and it's both under my healthcare policy memo and my criminal justice policy memo, but there's a whole section that talks about treating opioid and drug use as a disease, not as a crime. So part of my plan is not legalizing scheduled drugs like cocaine, heroin, and meth, but decriminalizing the possession of them for personal use. And if you get caught with any of those drugs, instead of us sending you to jail, we are going to send you to a rehab center so you can actually address the addiction directly. And as a governor, I'm going to make sure we have dedicated funding for those rehab centers, for those nonprofits, so that they have the resources they need to meet the people where they are and actually get them the help that they deserve.
Okay. Wow. That's good because I don't know how often you come to Baltimore, but addictions and this opioid addiction and crisis is really big here. And we need whatever help you can put in place. We need
Not
that help.
only is it
Yeah.
absolutely, I mean, again, we have to change the mentality of how we view the issue. And again, going back to one of my earlier comments, this policy that I just mentioned to you about treating opioid and drug use as a disease, not as a crime, was
Mm-hmm.
made by residents who are from Baltimore, from other places in Maryland, who have actually faced addiction themselves. So these
Oh
are
wow.
people who have the lived experiences who are making every policy in my campaign. Because
Wow.
again, they know most about these issues, and we can actually get it done by engaging those residents and constituents from day one, not waiting until after the election.
Wow. Wow. That's really nice. Do you have now? Are you still open to taking people to be a part of that? Having the residents come on.
Absolutely. So our campaign, like I said, is 100% volunteer run, and I'm proud to say we have one of the largest grassroots campaigns in the state of Maryland, and are continuing to grow because to be a volunteer on my team, there's zero time commitment, zero financial commitment. And you get to have a senior role with my team, direct access to me as a candidate for governor in a way that no other campaign can offer. And if you want to help make policy on any of these issues, you can help do that and work with the team of volunteers to make those policies. If you want to help with strategy, with communications, with the canvassing and the phone banking and anything else that a campaign needs help with, we are still taking volunteers. But again, we're opening up the process because a lot of folks, whether you're young or old, whether you live in a rural area or an urban area, they cannot get involved in campaigns because those campaigns require them to have policy expertise to make policy recommendations or dedicate a lot of time to have a one-on-one with the candidate directly. And
Mhm.
people are too busy for that. Yet they would
Right.
have great ideas and great insight. And so that's one of the things that makes my campaign really unique, is because we wanted to really make the process transparent, accountable, and accessible, and not just say it as an empty talking point.
Yeah. Yeah. And how can people? I do have your information at the bottom. I put that on there so they can reach you. But is that are there other ways that they can reach you as well outside of what I have scrolling at the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way. If people go to my website, janeforgovernor.com, it's a really easy way to sign up for information, for sign up for updates. You can
Hmm.
also go to any of my social media channels as is written on the bottom at Jane for Gov. And anyone who reaches out to my campaign to get involved, I make the one-on-one personal time with them. So you're not going to have to go through 20 different layers in order to get a hold of me. One of the core elements of my campaign is treating people with respect, whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a resident. And I've never seen this done before like this on any other statewide campaign. I was
Hmm.
frustrated by that for years. And I decided if I'm going to run my campaign this way, I want to make sure to do it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a. I'm listening to you talk, and it's like a new age way of running your campaign. It's not like the old way that our grandparents, grew up on, and it's really interesting. I like that,
It's a
because
mix, right? It's a mix because we have to learn from our elders, and that's why I actually am going door to door, which is old school. But then the
Mhm.
way in which we're running the campaign is also a little bit of new school. So it's a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, yeah, that's smart. That's smart because you're actually thinking out of the box, and I think that that's what we need now because people are so used to the same routine, the same spiel over and over again, and so now you're coming with something like really out of the box where people can actually get involved, and they have a chance to come to your events. Like you said, they don't have to pay. Because events that they can be really expensive to go to. I go to them a lot, so I understand. But Yeah, shout out to you. I love when people think out of the box. Like that's a great idea. So are now on your committees that you have, are they just adults? Do you have students like from school, high school or college?
So we have volunteers as young as middle schoolers, all the way to
Wow.
those as old as 92 years old. So it's everybody in between, from every background, every ethnicity, every culture, and each of the 24 counties essentially. So 23 counties plus Baltimore City. So it is a good mix because, again, I'm providing them the opportunity. I'm
Mhm.
making myself available. I'm going into these communities as well. And a lot of times people just need a chance, need an opportunity, and need to know that you're not going to bombard them with fundraising emails or fundraising asks, and you're not going to impose certain restrictions that will
Mhm.
prohibit them from getting involved when they already have a life and they already have so many other things to worry about, whether it's school, whether it's a job, whether it's kids, or whether it's taking care of somebody.
Right. And before we go, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about too is our homeless population, because in the city of Baltimore and then even counties that I go to, I'm seeing more and more people that are homeless. And so, how do we? I know you would be governor, but how do we put something in place where we can really start combating homelessness? Everybody that's homeless is not out there because they want to be homeless. And we just had there's a couple here in Baltimore, and his wife died because of the elements. And I was talking to him, and he was like, "I'm not homeless because I want to be." But sometimes the circumstances, like we were talking about, the people not getting their money, it puts them in certain situations, and they don't have any way out. So, do you have any plans or anything that you can work along with the cities and counties to help with that, with homelessness?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and it's really sad, and it's a civil rights and a human rights issue, right? And that's where I spoke about my housing plan earlier, which will help get more people into homes, into stable lives. And then part of my Maryland Now plan, a guaranteed jobs program. A lot of times, homeless folks are discriminated against in the labor force. They can't
Mm-hmm.
find a job, or they don't have the resources to print up a resume, to learn interview skills. And so, part of
Right.
my guaranteed jobs program is to have the state government be the employer of last resort. If you are someone in Maryland, whether you're homeless, whether you were laid off, furloughed, whether you have a disability, whether you're a new mother who was unable to maintain her job because an employer was discriminated against you, for taking time off, the state government will guarantee you a job, get you back on your feet, helping you pay your bills, helping you, do whatever the things you want to do. If
Mm-hmm.
you from there want to learn skills to move on to a different job in the private sector or nonprofit sector, we already have given you a platform and will help train you. And if you want
Mm-hmm.
to stay in those jobs at the statewide level, it's a great service to the rest of the residents. And again, it keeps you employed. So I think that's going to be an immediate solution that can help so many folks who are just struggling to get by.
Right, right, right. And that's good because I don't see that it's getting any better. It's actually gotten worse, and we're just seeing more and more of our homeless people, like right outside of my office. They have tents, and that's becoming homes for people right now. So, but yeah, I definitely want to have you on again because I love the way you think, and because I'm a person that thinks outside of the box, so I really want to pick your brain a little bit more.
Love to.
Have you come back on? I'm sorry you won't be able to come to our event next month.
Yeah.
For those of you who are just tuning in, this is Ashwani Jain, and I know a lot of you will watch later on, but he's running for governor of Maryland. So if you would do me a favor, make sure you share the video, let everybody know about him. You can roll it back and look at it. The crazy part now is that I've been doing these shows so much that on social media, places like Facebook, they've been blocking the views, because
Wow.
they don't want, they tell us that we're not supposed to be talking about politics. So, that is it's just so crazy. I was like, you can shoot and kill and do all this stuff, but you can't have a discussion about politics. So they've been blocking the views. But anyway, we're still going to persevere. We're still doing what we do. That's why I'm doing some live stuff this year, because it's getting ridiculous, and people can't really make an informed decision when they start doing that. you know,
Yeah.
but they are limiting views when you have people who are running for office. So, if for those of you who are watching Facebook, Twitter, we'll be on Instagram and YouTube. Please make sure that you share as much as you can. I appreciate that. We want to get the word out. Any last words you want to say before we go?
I just want to first thank you for this opportunity and the platform. I would love to be invited back. And for anyone who's watching, please take the time to learn more about my background, learn more about the policies. Everything's at janeforgovernor.com. And if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, if you want to get involved or just ask any questions, please reach out. I won't charge money in order to, have a one-on-one or get involved. And you'll have direct access to me as well. And that's how I'm not only been campaigning, but how I plan to govern after I win in July. The primary is July 19th, so make sure you're registered to vote. And I appreciate again for having me.
Now, when do you know when you'll be in Baltimore next?
Yeah, so my full public schedule is also on my website.
Okay.
It's under my mobile offices, but I'm in Baltimore and Baltimore City on the 13th and 14th of every month. And I'm in the county the entire day. I'm in the city the entire day. So folks also want to meet in person, feel free to reach out and then we can find a time that way as well.
Yeah, I was asking because I definitely want to come out one of those days, meet you in person, talk to you, and talk to the people that are there, because I think it's really important. I don't know, like I didn't know that you were here, and so I think it's important that we get that word out, so people can come and meet you and talk to you and learn more about what you're doing. But thank you again for coming on What Up Baltimore, and I'll try to get out this week if I can. The 13th and 14th. I'll try to get out so I can meet you and see what's going on. Do you need any? I know you have something set up, but do you need people to like volunteers to do anything?
Yeah, would love more volunteers to sign up. And again, you can help with making calls from home, with going door to door canvassing with me. You can help make graphics and videos. You can also help make policies if that's something you're interested in doing. So all the above, we would be honored and would definitely need and love your help. And again, you can sign up directly on my website.
Okay, and give them your website one more time.
So it's Jain, Jain, janeforgovernor.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashwani Jain. Like, this has been great meeting you. I've been following you for a while. And then I just decided one day to just reach out and say, hey, I'm going to see if he'll come on the show. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Like, I'm going to try to check you out this week. Everybody, make sure you go to his website, check him out. Remember, on this show, we talk about information being power. So you can't make an informed decision if you don't go check it out and if you don't go follow what he's doing. So make sure you go there, check it out. I have his Instagram and Facebook information scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Again, we appreciate you coming on. The best of luck to you and what you're doing. Like, keep up that idea. Somebody might steal it now that you put it out there. But anyway, but you have me thinking right now. Like, I love it because you're thinking out of the box. So anyway, have a great night. Thank you so much for coming on. Anytime you want to come on What Up Baltimore, you have my information now. Reach out, let me know, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Awesome. Much love. I appreciate it.
Oh, you are welcome. Everybody, this is Ashwani Jain. He is running for governor of Maryland, okay? Running for governor of Maryland. Check him out. His information is scrolling at the screen. My name is LadyJ. This is What Up Baltimore. We have some great stuff coming up, great shows going on this week, and we have events starting in May at the Cultural Arts Center. There'll be live events from May all the way until October, everybody. So make sure you come out and join us. Have a great night. Thanks, Ashwani, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, everybody. Good night.
Hey, I like him.